Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. We generally like to talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general, and in this video we will continue our countdown of our top 50 dexterity games of all time. We have done this list before, as you probably know by now. There's been so many dexterity games that have been released since we've done that list a few years ago that we thought we would treat you or do your head in with another list of our top 50. So let's stop arsing about and crack on with this list. Bollocks. So number 20 on this list is two games that sort of like the same game, right? It's Bicycle and it's Roadsters. In this game, you'll be constructing a modular track out of plastic pieces. You'll be putting rails around the edge of the track, and you'll be taking either a Tour de France like cyclist figurine or a car, and you'll be placing it on the track, and you'll be using what's called a Z-ball, which is a plastic ball with ball bearings in it, and you'll be flicking that around the track, and then you'll be moving either your bicycle or your car to where the Z-ball finished. The fact that the Z-ball has got ball bearings in it means that with a bit of practice you can pull off some stunning shots that will make people's jaw drop. Right, I've done it myself a couple of times. I'm not very good at this game, but I've done it. I have managed to pull off some amazing shots with this. And if you've got the Roadsters variation of this, then the cars do have a little ramp on the back of them, so you can actually use that to lift the ball over your opponents if they are ahead of you. Right, this game isn't as good as another game that may or may not be on this list that's kind of similar, but it's different enough to warrant being high on this list, and we really do like Roadsters and Bicycle. So if you are after one of these modular racing flicking games, and if you can find it, then Roadsters and Bicycle might be something you might want to check out, you know. So the next game on this list is sometimes referred to as air hockey, but without the air. It's a game called Shuffle Puck. This game takes place on quite a large wooden playing surface. You'll have two goals at either end of the board, and you'll use a paddle to hit a puck towards your opponent's goal, and they will be hitting it back just like you would be doing in air hockey. You do need a little bit of potato starch like carom powder on the board to make the puck glide along the table. This game can be a little bit noisy, right? So if you've got sensitive ears, it might not be for you, but I love this game. My kids love this game. We always drag this out at parties. It is fast paced, it's exciting, and you can play up to as many goals as you like. Yeah, this game never gets boring. Some people say that if you figure out the angles and all that sort of thing, then it can get a little bit too easy, but that is complete and utter bullshit, because I had this game for years and I've never actually figured out any of the angles. That might be because I'm a stupid twat, but it might just be because people are talking out their arse. So yeah, Shuffle Puck, an absolutely super wooden dexterity game that should go down as a bit of a classic, right? So the next game on this list is another wooden game. It's a rather bizarre game called Hamster Roll, right? Unfortunately, there are no hamsters in the box, but you do get like a hamster wheel made out of wood. It's got ridges around the inside, and you'll be attempting to place different wooden shapes inside the hamster wheel. This sounds really weird, doesn't it? But you'll be attempting to place different colour shapes inside the hamster wheel, and the hamster wheel will be rolling around the table, moving the shapes up, and eventually they will fall out. And if you make the shapes fall out, then you will take them into your hand. The winner will be the person who gets rid of all their pieces first. This game is on this list mainly for its curiosity factor, right? It's a bit of a weird design, and for that reason alone, if you like dexterity games, this should be on your radar, right? But the bizarre nature of this one aside, it's still a wonderful dexterity game. It does take a lot of skill to place the wooden blocks in positions that A, are going to make it easy for you to actually place them on there, and B, to make the person who goes next mess it up, right? One of the things that irks me about this is that the wheel will roll, and obviously you've got a finite amount of room on your table, so you're going to have to sort of move it back to a certain position, which may result in some of the pieces coming out, right? So you're going to have to be very careful when you do that. But Hamster Roll, a weird, wacky dexterity game that we really enjoy. So the next game on this list is a game called Junk Art. This replaced another game that's similar to this called Balzac. We got rid of Balzac and we got this instead. In Junk Art, you will be taking a load of different coloured wooden shapes or plastic shapes if you've got the cheap 2-bob version, and you'll be choosing a certain amount of, I suppose they're sort of mini games to play. There's a huge variation of different types of games that you can play, and they're all very different, but most of them do mean that you're going to be stacking these different shapes on top of each other and doing different things with them, right? The reason we got rid of Balzac is because the shapes in this have a little bit more meaning. Like you've got the dumbbell in there, for instance, whereas in Balzac they're just sort of abstract shapes that are sort of very difficult to stack. In this one it's a little bit easier, and you sort of get the sense that you've got a little bit more skill, which is great for me because I haven't got any skill normally. But yeah, Junk Art, loads of mini games, could do with an expansion. Can't believe they haven't actually expanded this one at all, but maybe they will in the future. But as it stands, you've just got the original version, and yeah, it's well worth a punt. So the next game on this list is a game that we usually play on a Lazy Susan. It's a game called The Climbers. In this game you will be stacking a load of wooden blocks with different colours on each side into a tower, and you'll take your little person and your ladders. You'll have a big ladder and a small ladder. You'll be placing the ladders up on the tower, and you'll be trying to get your little bloke or blokeette as high up as possible, because you'll be taking blocks from the tower and placing them higher up. So the person who gets to the highest point will be the winner of The Climbers, right? I can't imagine playing this on a table because you'd have to get up and move around the tower and try and find stuff. So if you're thinking about getting this one, definitely get a Lazy Susan and it will solve a lot of problems. This is a wonderful amalgamation of puzzle and dexterity games, because you're going to have to use your noodle to figure out where you're going to have to put your bloke, right? You're also going to have steady hands when you move them and take blocks out of the tower. Yeah, Climbers has been around forever and it's still in print, so if you fancy that one, you shouldn't have any trouble getting hold of it. Yeah, and it's really good. So the next game on this list is a game that borrows a lot from a game that we talked about previously called Via Paletti. This game is called Manara. In this game you'll be doing the same sort of thing. Yeah, you'll be taking these wooden cylinders, be placing them out of the board, and you'll be taking cylinders from lower levels and placing them on top of higher levels. This one also differs from Via Paletti because it is a cooperative game, so you'll be trying to build a certain amount of levels before the game ends, right? Is this better than Via Paletti? Of course it is. It's higher up on the list, isn't it? But it depends whether or not you like cooperative games or whether you are a selfish bastard and just like playing on your own. Yeah, so Manara, it's got a bit more variety, a little bit more to do. It's not just hooking stuff out and sticking it on top. You've got a little bit more strategy to think about, and you've also got to try and work together for a common goal, right? So Manara, love Via Paletti, so we love Manara and all. So the next game on this list is a game that I do not play with people with long fingernails because you will get your hands sliced up. It's a game called Jungle Speed. In this game you will all be sitting around the table and you'll have a sort of mini totem pole in the centre of the table, and you all have these cards. On your turn you reveal a card, and if your card matches any of the other cards that have been revealed on the table, you have to try and grab the totem pole. The player that grabs the totem pole will give all their cards to the player that lost the duel, and they'll also take all the cards that are under the totem pole and all. The thing about this game is that a lot of the cards have shapes and patterns on them that look the same, but they're not. They're just similar, so there is room to make a mistake in this one. Jungle Speed is a mental experience, right? If you go on YouTube, you can search for Jungle Speed Extreme, where people take this game to another level. It's absolutely hilarious. But yeah, Jungle Speed, a fantastic party game that plays loads and loads of people. There's loads of different ways to play this. Yeah, and yeah, I can't speak of Jungle Speed highly enough. Just watch out for those knives on the end of people's fingers. So number 13 on this list is a game that uses a big target and a load of dice. It's a game called Dungeon Fighter. In this game you'll take control of a character with special abilities, and you'll be making your way through a dungeon fighting different monsters. You'll be doing this by chucking dice onto a target, hoping that you do enough damage to kill the monster. The thing about this is that it's not just a case of chucking a die how you want to do it. Each monster will dictate to you how you have to throw the dice. You might have to do it with your eyes shut. You might have to get somebody to hold your arm and wiggle your hand around when you throw it. You might have to jump up, spin round and chuck the die that way. Or you might have to maybe get under the table and chuck the die that way. This game is really difficult. Yeah, the way we play it is you have a couple of practice goes and you throw the die for real when you're ready. There's also opportunities to buy magic items which will make your life, I say easier, doesn't make it easier, but it makes it a little bit more interesting. There were 4 expansions released for the original game. There was a reprint which tried to bump people off by splitting the game into 2 different sets, so people basically had to buy 2 games if you wanted everything, which is a complete and utter shitter. So we didn't touch that with a 10-foot barge pole. We stuck with our original one, so it's got an infinite amount of possibilities. And Dungeon Fighter is a dice chucking dexterity game that we really like a lot. Number 12 on this list is a game made out of wood. It's called Riff Raff. This game sees you trying to balance different wooden tokens onto a pirate ship that is suspended on a wooden stick, right? You'll be placing these pieces onto the rigging or onto the ship itself, and the ship will tilt one way, which means you're going to have to try and redress the balance by placing different tokens on the other side. Each token has a different weight, a different shape, so that makes it a little bit more interesting. But the thing about this is everybody's given a number of cards, and whoever plays the highest number card will go first, so the turn order will change dependent on which card you play. Riff Raff is one of our favourite dexterity games of all time. It's so simple. It was re-implemented in some shitty plastic thing called, I can't remember what it's called now, but it's made by one of them crappy games companies like John Adams or something. But this is the real deal. Don't touch that one. That one is complete shit. But this one is really, really well crafted out of plywood. It really looks good, and it's genuinely exciting, and it balances really, really well. Yeah. So Riff Raff, this is the go-to version of these sort of balancing dexterity games, of which there are quite a few. If you can find it, you should go out and get it. Right. So number 11 on this list is a game that we haven't seen anybody else play. It's a game called Matchball. This is a game made by Ravensburger. What this game consists of is a target in the box. You'll be taking these ping pong balls and you'll place these mats labelled 1 to 3 in front of the targets, right? You'll roll the die and that will tell you which of the 3 mats you have to hit first before the ball hits the targets. And if you manage to get the ball into the targets, you'll get a certain amount of points. First one to get 15 points will be the winner. This game never gets boring, right? It's totally unique. I haven't seen anything like this anywhere, and it's quite cheap. I suppose people haven't really been interested in this because it looks like one of those cheapo shitty games that you get down Argos or something. But Matchball always keeps everybody entertained, and it is very, very skillful. It takes a lot of skill to throw the ping pong ball not only in one of the designated mats, but also to get it in the most lucrative spot, which is in the middle. Yeah. So yeah, another chucky dexterity game that we love loads. So there you go. I think that's another 10 dexterity games. So there's only 10 to go. Yeah. I bet you are salivating with anticipation, aren't you? But if you're not, then go and eat a sherbet dib dab or something, right? Hit the like button, comment, subscribe and all that bullshit, and we'll see you next time.